ask them questions and wish them well for their match tomorrow. I'm going to start off with the first question. So for both of you, you've had a strong campaign leading into this final. Can you reflect on the journey so far and what stood out to you about the team's growth through the tournament?
I spoke to the guys before our washed-out game the other night about the journey that we've been on through the tournament so far. You know, we've faced a fair share of adversity, must be said, with a lot of our players either being ruled out before the tournament started, or when we brought in a replacement player, we haven't been able to use them. I mean, someone like, Steve Smith, when we at the start of the season was supposed to come for 3 or 4 games, broke his finger, didn't come. Marco Jansen had agreed to come, was ruled out by South Africa. Tim Southey was a replacement for him. He then took the job with England. Jason Berendorf came, didn't bowl the ball. Ben Sears plays 1 game, he gets ruled out. So there's been some adversity along the way. And the guys that have stood up, someone like a Mitch Owen and Jack Edwards, who, probably the 2 standout all-rounders in the tournament. When the tournament started or before the tournament, we probably didn't think they'd be bowling much for us at all. And they've been the ones that have really carried the group on the way through. And then, the other thing I spoke to the boys about is we haven't got the leading run scorer, we haven't got the leading wicket taker, but we've had so many guys contribute at exactly the right time for the team. And it's one of my big mantras around the teams that I coach is making sure you make an impact on the game when you get your opportunity. And that's what our boys have been able to do so far through the tournament. It's not just been one, it's been all of them at different times, and that's got us to the top of the table, and only losing the 2 games on the way through. And you look at the 2 games we lost was probably getting caught in the headlights a little bit in game 1 in San Fran, not really knowing what the conditions are going to be like, and Finn Allen playing an incredible knock. And the other game was the 5-over game, which can obviously go either way. So it's been a great campaign so far, but we know that the big task is ahead of us tomorrow.
From Apple USA. Firstly, you're one of the legends of this game. You've had an illustrious career, both as a player, highly successful coach. You could have taken any prestigious position anywhere in the world. You could have been a commentator, ambassador, enjoyed your retirement, but you decided to stake your reputation and invest your valuable time in this relatively new league with a new Washington Freedom team. Come to America, which is of course a land of opportunities, the land of baseball, where people still think cricket is a bug and not a sport. Why?
Well, you talk about enjoying retirement. This is as much enjoyment as I can get. Being around the cricket team and around the cricket change room is where I get all of my enjoyment in life. It's where I always have. It's where I think I was almost born to be, was in a team environment and around the cricket team. So I'm enjoying, whether it's IPL or being here, it takes me back as close to my playing days as I can possibly be. And when you play and travel as much as I did, and that day eventually comes when you stop playing, it's really hard to replace that competitive part of your life. So that's why I'm still coaching. And why did I get involved here? I sat back and watched the first season of MLC, and I looked at the quality of the teams and the quality of the players, and thought, that's something I'd really like to get involved in at an early stage. So, last year being my first year was obviously season 2 of MLC, and I actually wanted to be here to be able to help the growth of the tournament, to be honest. Like, I think it's important for tournaments like this that we're able to attract the better players like we've got here, and like we had last year with Smith and Head and Cummins and all those guys being a part of a tournament like this, that you have to utilise those moments and opportunities. And I wanted to be here to be a part of it and see it, and hopefully find ways to grow the game. You talked about America being the heartland of baseball, and but there's no reason, as far as I'm concerned, why cricket can't start getting a bit of a foothold with youngsters around the country. If you think about the game of baseball and the game of T20 cricket, they're both similar length of time. Baseball, I think there's less than 1 home run hit per game. You turn up to a game of cricket, I mean, Finn Allen hit 19 home runs in his first game against us. So you talk about an entertainment package. If you compared both of them, then you would have to say there's more entertainment in a game of T20 cricket. So the thing that I would be doing, though, if I was, I think there are chances and opportunities for us, the great players, to, when they're here for this event, to the MLC to use them better and get them out into schools and invite a couple of hundred school kids to a game tomorrow night. Why not? Go to the local schools, give some tickets away, get them to come, get them to experience what the game's all about, get them to meet some heroes. I know Maxie met a fan in San Fran after one of our games there. That's the way we're going to grow the game. And then once you get into that grassroots, I think there's great opportunities and endless opportunities. So that's why I wanted to be a part of it, and I've had a great time. And you talk to all the players, and I'll let Maxie answer this as well, because you talk to the players that have been here the last couple of years. It has been a very fun and enjoyable tournament. There's no doubt about it, and it's only going to grow, and it's only going to get better. There's talk of expansion, and obviously we know that the franchises have got to start building their own stadiums. So in a couple of years' time, I think there's massive opportunities for this market.
Thank you.
Do you want to add to it?
Z with Quick Exec and the MLC Talk Show on Willow Sports. You were, other than the first match against San Francisco, where, like you said, Finn Allen had sort of the performance of the tournament, and kind of a strange 5-over match against TSK, where anything can happen. You've won your other 8 games pretty convincingly, right? You've been the dominant team in the tournament. You ended up top of the table, and you've been off for a week at this point. So, how do you maintain the hunger and the focus and the edge of the team going in tomorrow when you're up against a team who's faced elimination a few times and is maybe a little tired, but very switched on?
Well, I think we're in a nice position where we were able to actually have a couple of days off after our last game was washed out. We were able to get away from the game, enjoy some things outside of cricket for a couple of days, and then if you're a spectator at training tomorrow, you can only see the focus of the guys that were excited to get back into training and preparing for the final, and to be able to sit back and watch the other game last night was something that we've earned throughout the tournament, the way we've played our cricket, as you alluded to, those 8 games that we won, finishing top of the table, and earning that right to be able to have those couple of rest days and earn that build up to the final. And our training session yesterday was really high quality and all came off the guys having a couple of fresh days and having fresh legs and the excitement of building up to what we've worked so hard towards. And I think that's going to hold us in really good stead. We've been a little bit all over the road with the hectic schedule, which always happens in T20 competition, and any time you can get a little chance to refresh and allow yourself to almost have a mini pre-season heading into a game, you certainly jump at that opportunity. And the guys are in really good shape for probably the first time in the tournament. It feels like we've got a full squad available and fresh on the field. So, barring late night illness tonight, hopefully we've got a few changes. I don't even say that. Sorry, don't jinx that, to worry. So yeah, we're very lucky to be in this position.
I have a question from Smith Patel from ClickBuzz. It's just incredible the way you have scripted your campaign, going on top of the table with one frontline bowler like Saurabh Netrabalkar. Of course, others stepped up, but to find the Netrabalkar's role in stabilizing and providing potency to the bowling attack at the same time. Any moments of his leadership you would like to share with us?
Yeah, he's been obviously extremely integral for the last 2 years. We've basically built our bowling attack around him and what he provides. He had an extremely successful campaign last year. Probably hasn't got the wickets he would have liked this year, but to say that his role is any less would be wrong. I think the fact that he's been able to play a slightly different role this year, hasn't had Marco Jansen at the other end and Lockie Ferguson consistently at the other end, being able to blast teams out and him do his role. It's been slightly more different, where he's been having to play a bit more of a holding role, and his leadership at the back end of an innings is probably understated a little bit for what the competition's seeing at the death overs, and the fact that he's been so consistent throughout this tournament. He's my go-to man pretty much every time, and we've been very lucky to have him. And he's so ultra consistent. His preparation and the way he goes about his business is extremely professional, and certainly the guy that we obviously look to at all times throughout the years.
Maxine, your team doesn't have, like your Washington Freedom doesn't have an IPL franchise back, or the fan following that comes easily for somebody like an MI New York or a Texas, but you've still played a brand of cricket that is very distinctive and successful. Your team, like you mentioned, overcame numerous obstacles and injuries this season.
Yeah, I think it would be extremely special if we were able to go over the line tomorrow. I think the fact that we've been able to win in such a different way to what we did last year. Last year we had an extremely talented list that we were able to keep relatively injury free the whole way through, barring Lockie Ferguson's injury late in the tournament. I felt like we went through relatively unscathed. I don't think Marco Jansen even put the pads on throughout the whole tournament. We were extremely fortunate with our top order performing, our top bowlers taking wickets the whole way through, and there was certainly a lot of confidence throughout the whole group that whole year, and they're almost expecting to win the final. And this year we've had to go about it a completely different way. We've had, as Ricky said, guys having to chip in and contribute at different times. Ian Holland's played an incredible role for us with the ball and been able to take some huge wickets for us. And it hasn't just been one player dominating for us. It's been a pure team effort to be able to get the job done in a different way that sometimes you don't normally see in T20 cricket. It's you get a couple of guys who are in form that you rally around, and we've been able to, I suppose, have a really even, consistent contribution throughout our squad. And that's probably been the most pleasing thing for me this year is we haven't been relying on one or two people. It's been the whole team to step up and, as Ricky said, have a positive impact on the game from the moment they're introduced and to the moment their day's done. So been extremely proud of the whole squad sort of sticking so tight together, and we've got fantastic background staff, owners who allow us to be that way on the field and allow us to have that that really enjoyable time together, and we're certainly very blessed to be where we are.
So you were talking about some of your players and the depth. I want to focus specifically on your bowling attack, which is easily the deepest of all the teams. I mean, the last two matches you've used 7 bowlers in each match, right? You've talked about Mitch and Jack, right, and Saurabh, but you just mentioned Dutchie, who's taken 10 wickets. You've taken 9 yourself, right? And then you have like Rachin and Glenn Phillips, we haven't even mentioned, right? So, and other than Saurabh, everyone that we've just spoken about is a full-on all-rounder who can bat really well, right, in the right moments. So you've got like a wealth of a bowling attack. Like, it's almost a high-class problem. How are you going to use that tomorrow? How are you going to manage it? How are you thinking about your strategy, given your depth?
Well, I suppose don't tell them. I suppose the beauty of having those options is being able to get your matchups right. We have our meetings on game day that go for a couple of hours, which I sit in for probably the first half an hour and then tune out after that, because there's probably too much information to sift through. But I know the opposition teams well enough. I have the meeting with our bowling coach, Sean Bradstreet, and making sure that he's giving me all the information possible, and we go through all that. And to have that many options allows you generally to be able to pick the right one for the matchups, the stats, and whatever they look like. And it's a nice thing to have. Sometimes it'll be myself bowling 4 overs. Sometimes if the matchup's better for left armsmen, you've got Rachin to bowl your 4 overs. And we're lucky to have obviously a bit of height in our attack, a couple of guys that skid it low, lots of off-pace changes, and now that we've got Lockie back, to have that extra bit of pace. So we're certainly very blessed with our options on the field, and as Ricky said, we probably didn't have those all at the start of the tournament, but we've been able to, I suppose, as the tournament's gone on, build that attack, and with the confidence that it's had with those early opportunities.
And the other thing to add to that is with the different venues that we've played at as well, we've had different surfaces everywhere we've gone. So when you've got that many options in your attack, you've got someone you can always go to with a matchup or with the conditions. You look back at the end of San Fran when that wicket started to really slow down. That's when Ian Holland was doing his best work. We get to Florida, that wicket turned a little bit. Ratch and both Glens chipped in and got the wickets there when it turned. This one here will probably be a bit flatter, might suit the taller seamers a little bit more, and that's where Edwards and Mitch Owen come into their own. So you talk about the matchups, but there's this bowling attack sort of complements itself as well. So when you talk about, and I always say it about bowling attacks, it's not necessarily about always having the best 5 bowlers, but if you've got 5 different bowlers that complement one another, then that's where you start to get the right matchups for your team.
Adam here from Adam Banner Cricket USA. Congratulations to you both getting to another final. Question for both of you. For Ricky, what have you been doing with the team? We've mentioned big stars out, but down the order of batting and bowling, everyone's made an impact. What have you been doing off the field to bring the team all together? And Max, on the field, what has it been like for you captaining, bringing the team together on the field?
Yeah, well, that's a big thing. I just try and make the players feel comfortable and happy and basically let them know how good they are every day. With this T20 game, more often than not, it's the top 4 or 5 batters that are doing most of the work every game. But we've got match winners that go down to 6, 7, 8, 9, even with the bat, and they're as important to me as anyone at the top of the order. So, for me with a team, it's about treating everyone exactly the same, giving everyone the exact same amount of time to mind, whether it's at training or off the field, and creating an environment where everyone's happy with what we're doing. And everyone feels a part of the journey that we're on, and everyone feels the same part of the journey that we're on. That's one thing I try and bring to every team. Look, the guys know, what I expect from them. I'll have fun and a laugh and a beer with the boys outside of cricket time, but when it's time to play, it's time to play. And we don't just turn up to compete, we turn up to win. And the question was asked before about what would it mean to the team? Well, we've only had one goal since we started, and that was to win the MLC, and we've got a chance of doing that tomorrow. So, when you start out a campaign like that, you don't need to motivate the boys every day. You need to check in with them, see how they're going, see how they're feeling about their game, and make sure that they're ready for tomorrow, for the occasion that we set out to, or the moment that we set out to make it to. So, I'm a bit of I just sort of sit back and observe a lot of the time and pick up body language and how people's attitudes are going. And what Glenn Maxwell mentioned earlier, the way that our team trained yesterday was the best that we've trained for the entire tournament, whether that was pre-season, coming into the first game, or going into the final. So that to me says that the environment's good. That to me says that everyone's up and about and ready for the challenge tomorrow. And it's going to take a good team to beat us. And that's the way I feel about it. And I've said that right from the start. If we do everything right together off the field with the talent that we've got in our dressing room, if we tick all our boxes and the boys do their job tomorrow and not worry about anything else, then it's going to take a good team to beat us.
Yeah, I think for on the field, probably more going on from Ricky's point there. I've tried my hardest to empower the side to be their own leader and making sure that it's not my team, it's not Ricky's team, it's all of our teams to contribute towards a common goal and to have that pride in our performance. And I felt like I haven't had one vice captain out there. I've had 10 to sort of all be able to be a part of the journey and making sure that they're caring about pretty much everyone else on the side. And it's been a fun journey because we've all been going through the same emotions all together throughout the whole tournament. And to have that feeling out on the field every game is something that you continue to chase, and probably a huge reason why Ricky's still chasing that cricket dream and still so heavily a part in the game. It's one of those things you can't replicate, being a part of titles and enjoying that final success. And I'm extremely proud of this group to be able to do it in such a different way this year, to get to the same point we were at last year. And just hope everyone can continue to play that same brand of cricket tomorrow. And as Ricky said, if we can bring that same level of performance, the same consistency that we've had on and off the field this year, it's going to take a body team to beat us.
Ricky, during the games, I had a chance to meet an American police officer here who was volunteering his time maintaining security. I got a chance to explain him the rules of the game. He got super excited. He said he would really love to send his 7-year-old son to play cricket and maybe learn it. And you're a father yourself. I was at the Nets yesterday, speaking to Michael while you were training or something, and it was pretty serious. It looked like. And what advice would you want to give a person, an American person here, who wants his kid to get into cricket, or perhaps like envision a cricketing career for him, like as part of what advice would you give?
I think first and foremost, like I said earlier, I think you've got to bring them along to the game, bring them along and let them see how much fun the game is and what an entertainment package that the T20 game is. And that's what I'd be selling it that way. I wouldn't be calling the game cricket in the US. I'd be just saying T20. As soon as you bring the word cricket up, The average person thinks, oh, it takes too long, it's a 5-day game. But if you talk about it as T20, then I think people start to get it. So that's where I think the opportunities are. The opportunities are with those young kids, you know. And it's not it's a bit like baseball. You need a bat and a ball, and if you got that and a couple of mates, then you can have as much fun as you can with any other sport. And that's where we all started. We all started in the backyard. Certainly growing up in Australia, it was in the backyard with your brother or your sister, or sometimes your mum and dad throwing balls at you in the backyard, and that's how we all got to love the game. But it's one thing to love the game, but you need your heroes as well. And I think with what's coming up with US cricket, there's more and more heroes that are starting to develop in the US. And, I think it'll be with the Olympics around the corner as well. And we've been talking the last 2 years to see the growth of some of the domestic players here in the US. These kids are going to have the heroes to look up to, but I think the game needs to use those people better. It needs to be taking Glenn Maxwell out to a primary school with some stumps and a bat and ball and set things up for an hour in the playground at lunchtime and let the kids have some fun with it. See how far they can hit a cricket ball, see how good it feels to hit the ball in the middle of the bat, see how good it feels when you bowl a ball to knock me to a stump out of the ground. I mean, these are the things that all motivated us as kids to play the game, and that's what, if we're going to grow the game here, that's what we need them to experience. So, and then that 7-year-old boy that you're talking about, he'll come, he'll have fun, he'll tell his 20 mates at school the next day, they might come to the next game, but we've got to start somewhere and we've got to be proactive doing that. So, but it's good to hear that. I mean, another good story to come out of it was James Hopes, who's married to an American, lives in Colorado. The close friend of hers went to one of their games in San Fran, and he got a message back from his mate saying, I've got no bloody idea what's going on here, but it's a lot of fun. He didn't really understand the game, but he was just having so much fun, and that's what can happen with this game. So, I think everyone from the top down in US cricket, and certainly around this tournament, just needs to have a bit of a think how we can do things just a little bit better, be a bit more proactive in the marketing side of the game, and start pushing it out there on the young kids. And I think in a short period of time, it can grow really quickly.
Actually, you've been around the domestic guys for your team this year, last year, and 2 years too, I got a chance to speak to. Are there any domestic guys that you want the world to watch out from?
Well, it's hard to look past our wicketkeeper number 3 at the moment. He's been on fire, and watching him go about it. Obviously, Saurabh's been the superstar of our bowling attack for a bit, but Andreas, with his leadership, the way he's played for the USA team as well, he's a guy that's consistently stood up for us in a tough role, amongst a star lineup as well, and he's right in the middle of it. He's the one that gives us the balance in our batting lineup, and it's a pressure position number 3 in T20 cricket. There's a lot riding on it, and a lot of the rest of the lineup generally falls into place depending on the way he plays. And he's extremely important for us in the way he plays. I think arguably he's got the shot of the tournament. His back foot cover drive off Ben Scoltwick. I've got that. I get that name wrong every fight. I say Shadley, yeah. And that shot overcome points arguably the shot of the tournament. And he's extremely talented, a great time to the ball, and he's been really rock solid with the gloves behind the stumps. And I think, alluding to Rick's point before, I think getting exposure for those guys, even having a couple of international players with those local players going out to the schools and doing some clinics and exposing them to the game and giving them that feeling that we've had growing up, and getting the taste of it is all you need to dip your toe in the water, and it expands really, really quickly. And I know from other tournaments we've been used really well, I suppose, going to these school visits and giving some exposure to the game, the tournament that we're about to play in. And I think that's a way where this tournament can really grow really fast, and your crowd numbers will go through the roof, the interest levels will grow, and all the franchises support base will certainly blossom as well. So yeah, there's ways we can certainly improve, but I feel that these first couple of years have been really enjoyable to be a part of, and I can only see it getting bigger and better.
Question for Glenn. Your Instagram bio just reads dad. Congratulations on becoming a dad. How has being a dad impacted your cricket and your leadership role in the team?
I'd like to say it's calmed me down, but there's a few people on the team might disagree. I think it's certainly made what happens on the field probably less life or death for me. I feel like I sometimes throughout my career, a lot of times I've sort of ridden the highs and lows of the game, and to the detriment of my own mental health at times. And I found like it's been a great way for me to almost decompress all that stuff and be able to leave it on the field, leave it at the cricket ground. And one of my coaches back home always says this. He always says, "Be where your feet are. If you're at cricket, that's where your focus is. That's where your time and all your energy is involved. If you're at home, that's where your focus is. That's what you're thinking of. You're not worried about your dismissal 2 days ago. You're not worried about training coming up. You concentrate on your family and that time. And I've tried to sort of live a bit more in that space and be able to be a bit more present as much as I possibly can. And becoming a parent has certainly helped me do that with a lot of joy. And I couldn't love him any more than I do. Even as soon as I left, I knew I'd miss him straight away, and it's certainly hard being away from him. He grows so much every day. He's almost 2 now, and he's good fun, and I'm looking forward to seeing him when we get back.
One last one. So you can thank your social media team for this question. So if you win tomorrow, is it gonna be golf balls or cash?
After my last couple of rounds, it's probably golf balls.
Well, there's no more golf, so you'll probably take the cash, I reckon, won't you, at the end of this one? Well, the players might.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's not worry about winning tomorrow. Let's get everything right to give ourselves the best chance to win tomorrow, which is what we need to do. We can't look any further ahead than what we've got with our last training session today. But I mean that part of it in itself probably says a lot about our group. Just that we're having fun with with identifying important moments in games. I like to identify every little thing that happens in a game that has some sort of impact on the result, whether that's one great piece of fielding or one over here or there, or one little, 20-run cameo from a batsman going in with a couple of overs to go. I like to identify all those things because it's, the man of the match on the field gets all the accolades, fair enough. But there are a lot of other guys that do little things in the game that contribute to the win, and that's why we do what we do with those things in the change rooms. And the boys really appreciate to be identified, I think, but it just adds a bit of fun to the end of what's always a very serious day of cricket. All right. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.